All right, guys. Hey there. My name is Salim Minola. I'm a Microsoft Lens student ambassador from Nigeria, and as you can tell from the smile on my face, I'm really excited about this session. Today on Azure Episodes, we're going to be hosting the winners of the 2023 Microsoft Imagine Cup Championship, and I think I missed it, but perhaps it's actually the 2023 World Microsoft Imagine Cup winners, and I'm super excited about this session. I'm just going to introduce the team. I have here with me Santish and Mona, right? And
Yeah.
from Team TAWI. Can you guys introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. I'm Mona.
Hello everyone, I'm Santish.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so I'm just going to the way this session will work is going to be very interactive. I'll ask you guys a couple of questions about the experience, about the competition, what inspired the solution. I really like to touch on what the experience was like because I mean, perhaps that could inspire. We never know the next guys that will be inspired by this session, and you never know, So I'll start from actually I think we've introduced ourselves. Let's talk about a bit of a background for me guys. So just tell me about your background generally. I reckon that you guys met at an hackathon.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about that. What you guys did.
So I knew Sintish personally, and each one of the team members, I knew them without them knowing each other. So when I was looking for people so that we could work together on this project, I reckon that I have friends around me that are really good at creating solutions and working well, and they have a vision and all that. So I had to introduce them at the hackathon when we met, and then I think they all clicked, and yeah, and that's how it started.
So I mean, it's fair to speak that Mona was the orchestrator, so you knew every single one. However, they didn't know themselves. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. All right. So your solution, basically, at a very high level, what it does is that it helps kids with APD, that's kids with auditory processing disorder. So can you touch about the solution? Like, what motivated the solution? What was the inspiration coming from?
So the motivation for this project, the inspiration for this project came from a 7 years old that we knew, we have discovered. And also we tried to make some research, and we found out that there are quite a big number of statistics of children with APD in Kenya also at APD. So we tried to dig into research and try to find out how we could bring a positive, long-lasting solution to help them improve in the academics.
Oh, wow, that sounds really awesome. That sounds really, really, really awesome. So what was the journey like to developing the solution? I mean, a bit of a timeline. When did you start developing it?
Okay, so we started, I think, about last year, 2022, November, September, roughly there. And the whole process was just starting by looking for a solution on what we can build and digging into the statistics, the research that was done in that field, and is it viable enough? And then we just picked to go with APD, and with the all statistics that we had to make sure that we have to make a product that is not only viable, but it helps people in the community, and it's also cheap. And accessibility was the main key area into that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really awesome. I feel like very, very important in creating solutions like is actually doing very important is actually having your research done, because you want to make a solution without having a good understanding of what the market is like, what the problem is as well. So I feel like the number of people on this call who perhaps might not really understand what APD is about. Can you touch on that a bit?
I will explain that. So APD is a neurological condition that affects the brain's ability to process what what we hear. So what happens is people or children who have auditory processing disorder, they have difficulty understanding what is being said in a place where there is too much noise. They can't focus, so they get a bit distracted, so they can't understand what is being said.
Wow, wow, wow. So just out of curiosity, is it disorder, is it limited to just kids, or we have adults with disorder as well?
I mean, it's not limited to kids only, but it starts at a young age. And in order to make these kids grow up into adults in a way that it's comfortable for them and they can interact with the community, we had to make sure that we first provide the solution to the children who have this disorder. And then, I mean, because adults have, they've done training and they're used to the environment now, even though they have APD, but they're kind of used to the environment. That's when we thought considering them afterwards, but we started with the children who have that difficulty.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because my understanding of the whole of the disorder prior to the call was that it helps, when basically it's a challenge that has to do with the brain, whereby you have challenges processing sounds. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
All
So
right.
like sounds like pa and ba, or it's kind of distorting when it gets to the brain, so they don't understand exactly what is being said, or they can just hear fuzzy words.
All right. Oh wow, that makes sense actually. So I mean, when you explain the problem, I would imagine that the solution is something really, really complex. Can you talk about the solution, please?
Okay, so when we're looking into the solution, you first look at the problem, and we saw that it's the difficulty in the background noise. So providing a solution where we can have a model that can suppress the noise and amplify the sound that is being kept across. So we thought of going with Whisper, OpenAI, and also Metrigen, which both they do. It's kind of they suppress the noise and amplify the voice that is being said. So with that, the child can hear correctly the words that are being said, and they can actually be able to talk and communicate well. And we came up with also speech to text by using now Azure Cognitive Services, Microsoft product, which is really good. It's quite accurate. And what it does, it's for us, we thought of it as a backup in a way that if they couldn't hear exactly what is being said, at least they have the words written down on the phone and they can follow along. Yeah, in order for that to be comprehensive for them, and they can actually interact well with the students and achieve academically.
Oh, that sounds really awesome. So these kids now talking about now, they have issues listening or hearing when there's noise, and then your solution now comes, it suppresses the noise and then amplifies the actual sound they want to hear. And not just that, you're not backing that up with the sound, with the speech to text with the speech to text source on Azure Cognitive Service, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds really, really, really awesome. So what's like in building the projects, because I'm really interested in the noise suppression and sound application. What was it like? How did that work actually? Like, what's the picture like? Can you touch more on that?
Okay, so we looked into OpenAI Whisper, which there are several models of that, and we had to pick one that is not only that it doesn't use a lot of RAM, and at the same time it works efficiently. And we were looking also at other models, and we came across Metrigen. So what it does first, we take it through OpenAI Whisper, where the filtration happens, and then we take it to Metrigen, which now amplifies correctly, and they can hear what is supposed to be heard.
And then Azure Cognitive Service does speech to text translation.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds really, really, really cool. Wow. Because personally, I've worked with the Azure speech to text resource, and it was really cool. So I'm now imagining you combining that with two other services. That must have been really, really cool. So now let's talk about the Imagine Corp experience itself. Wow. Let's talk about the Imagine Corp experience itself. What was the experience participating in a global competition like that? Talk to me about that.
it was such a good opportunity for us, first of all, because we had to work creatively and innovatively and trying to bring this solution on board so that it can be accessible to a large number of people. It has been such an incredible um, opportunity for us, yeah, to
Right.
also, yeah, to connect not only between us, so that even people who didn't know about our solution, actually they know about it. It has been
Right.
such a good, yeah, good opportunity.
Well, I can imagine actually being able to present your solution on a global stage. That must have been awesome. Um, Over the course of the journey into presenting it, was there any challenge you faced? You want to touch on something peculiar, moments that perhaps you felt, can we actually pull this off? Was there anything like that?
I mean, there's no journey that you won't have ups and downs, but
Obviously.
we had to work extra hard, and sometimes we'd work overnight, 2 days in a row, so that we can bring in the solution as early as possible for the users. And we had to to change every single thing, like have progress with each and every week and make sure that things are going the way that they should be. So it's been a good journey, and we've got a lot of memories that came up with that, and we've learned a lot. We've been able to deal with people and learn as an experience in tech, especially. It's been a good journey in
I can
general.
imagine. Out of curiosity, while you guys were working on it, were you all physically present, or perhaps you have to work remotely?
So especially with the startup, we thought it was best we work physically together. So we used to meet, I think, 6 days in a week and work on it roughly 18 hours a day, or even sometimes 24 hours. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome. So was physical throughout the entirety of the building stage?
Pardon?
I said was physical throughout the entirety of the building stage.
Easy. Yeah, we used to
Were you guys
work
using physically?
in school.
So we
All
had
right.
an office, kind of a room, which we were given specifically to work on our solution. Yes.
All right, that makes sense. Over the course of the journey, because I can imagine I made amazing memories. Is there any lesson that stands out in particular from the entire experience? Something perhaps you're going to hold on to? Any lesson you learned?
Um, for me, I'd say, I've learned a lot, but I'm trying to think of one that resonates with
Right.
me right now.
I mean, you can share as many as possible. Actually, we're here to learn.
Okay.
um, I'd say the lesson that I learned specifically was you always have to work hard to get what you want. At the end of the day, you have to have your goals written down, and the vision should be there. Because if you don't have that vision of seeing the outcome of your solution, then I don't think that that means you don't have motivation enough to do the work. So we had to actually remind ourselves about the solution and meet up with the users. So that now we can resonate with them, even though we don't have that condition. But if someone else who has a condition, and you can talk to them, you can test it out with them, they give you the feedback and you take the feedback positively.
Mhm.
I think that's what resonates the most.
Well, how
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, with me, working on this project has been such a long journey, and it wasn't easy at all. It was hard, but although it was hard, we stick together since we had the same vision to build something that will create a positive impact and help people who are struggling with this condition. So we had to work extra hard, like putting a lot of work, like beyond measure. And like I've really learned from working harder than usual in while working on this project. Also, trying to interact with people who I edit, because we had at some point to try to test our application, having to try to put yourself in the place of people who have it, and also try to help them. So this is what I've also learned particularly. And yeah,
Wow, wow, wow. I think there's
communication.
anything I've learned.
And
Awesome. I think there's anything I've learned from your experience is you can't cheat the system. If you're going to achieve something great, you're going to have to work really hard, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And also, I think you mentioned interacting with the end users, being trying to put yourself in their shoes so you can understand where they're coming from,
yeah.
right? All right. So, throughout the course of the journey, was there any point where perhaps you doubted that, okay, like, was there any point where doubt creeps in that, okay, can we pull this off? Is it possible? Like, was there any point like that?
I mean, with every solution that you bring out to the market, you have to look if it's feasible enough. You have to look at if you have the users and is it going to be viable in 10 years to come. So you look at the vision in 10, in 5 years, and all that. At first, we always knew that it's going to work, but now looking into it more keenly, if we are going to get investors that can help us out with funds that can last us for this amount of time, or are we going to have good investors? Because you can't just actually pick an investor. Some of them come with conditions and all that. So looking into that and discovering if it's feasible enough. Sometimes, yes, we have gone, like, there's some thoughts that come along with, sometimes it's not visible, but we look at it and we're like, yeah, at the end of the day, we want to help these children who have this condition. It's
Right.
not about us getting something out of it, but them having an advantage in the society where they are in the same line as other children and they can communicate well and learn well.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing that keeps us going through the project.
Well, that's really, really, really awesome. All right, so now I think we've touched in depth about solution, how it works. So now I'm interested in the competition in itself. What you learned is that you guys are the world champions. On the scale of, okay, not on the scale, but basically, how excited were you guys? Because, I mean, I didn't win it, and I'm pumped. So, like, how excited were you guys at the point?
We had worked, everyone among all the three teams, we worked so hard to get to the position we were, and we were all winners at the end of the day. But for us, I think we didn't digest it yet until 2 months afterwards. Then we're like, oh,
How long?
yeah, because life still kept on going as normal. Yes, we won, but it doesn't have to be the only thing that we can achieve in the whole project. The most that we can achieve is putting it out there and having an impact. But it was the best experience, I think, because that showed that our solution was viable enough and we were recognized in a world platform, which we were so grateful for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to talk about this in general to people here. So I don't know if you're, I mean, I want to talk about the Microsoft ADC and their role in you within this. So for a bit of context, the Microsoft ADC is I think about 20 offices in Africa, one in Nigeria and one in Kenya. And majorly these branches, they are focused on innovation and creativity with Africans basically. So I'm curious, and just to touch on a question. Okay, let me just ask a question. How important or what kind of role did the Microsoft ADC play in you becoming world champions?
I
Or
mean,
perhaps let me rephrase that. Or what kind of role did they play in your development phase? What kind of support did they offer and what's not?
so we had a meeting with the ADC and especially in the education sector, and they were quite supportive. And we communicate with each other quite often, especially in the development part. We were having troubles and they were able to help us, and they even gave us contacts. If we need any help, we can visit them at the workshop, or we can also email them. So it was quite helpful for us because we have that support and they have more experience than we do. So it kind of helped us in guiding us throughout the project. And they're still doing so. So thank you. Yeah.
I can imagine. Just so I'm clear, you guys are the first winners of the World Imagine Cup in Africa, right?
Yes.
So you guys are the trailblazers. Awesome. So I feel like it must have been very, very important you got that support from them. So in general, how has like the Microsoft ADC been supporting the Kenyan tech ecosystem in general? Because when you think about tech in Africa, I'm Nigerian, so of course I've seen Nigeria first. You think Nigeria, you think Kenya. So tell me, how has the ADC been helping Kenya, the Kenyan tech ecosystem in general?
I think there was a time when we visited and we got to interact with a lot of people in the tech area and people who are not in the tech area who are willing to help people in tech and support them. So there's a lot of workshops that are going on which people can actually join and get the experience of I think especially in the accessibility area. So they have workshops where you can go learn for a few months, 3-6 months, and get the experience of how you can make your product much better there. And I think they also go to schools and educate them about the programs and Microsoft student ambassadors helping out in that area so that we can refine the technological sector in Africa in general and make us be ahead, kind of. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are trailblazers in that aspect already based on what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So what other thing I'm curious about is, so we've talked about the competition itself and how awesome the experience was. Like now I'm curious, I need to talk about this. So now back to the solution, TAWI. What does TAWI mean? Yeah.
Definition, I think.
Pardon?
Like what does TAWI, the name TAWI, where did it come from? Right.
So the name TAWI means a sprouting. It means a sprouting leaf.
Okay. All right. So, what was the motivation behind naming the solution TAWI? Was there something in particular that made you name it that?
Yes, we had a motivation behind it because it's a sprouting leaf, and children are the next generation who are going to lead us and bring out the innovation in all the countries and all that. So a sprouting leaf is a child who we are trying to nurture, especially who has APD, and so that they can be in the same lane as the people who can actually make the world a better place.
Awesome. I love your response because it kind of like builds up to my next question. So can you just highlight the positive impact of TAWI on children with APD?
Yes. This solution here, the TAWI solution, just helps children with APD have the world accessible as any other child, especially in a school setting where they have access to also achieve better in the academics as any other child. And yeah.
Even communication and being able to be confident out there, because one of the most important things is being confident and playing around or kind of achieving something in the society, even though it's small, but having them become confident in order to do something and create something or even innovate in the tech industry because of a solution that we provided for them. It's quite impactful.
I feel like personally, the way I feel is the impacts of your solution is such that it's quite limited. Like it's quite limitless. You really don't know how much you can do by just making them being able to communicate well. Like the sky's the limit. They can do so many other things, and like that's really, really awesome. Yeah, it's easier. So I feel like we talk about tech innovations and solutions in general. Key to this conversation is sustainability. So I'm curious, what like the team's plan for further development, implementation, perhaps expansion of the solution? What are the plans in place for that?
We are currently finishing up with the development, and we started a company, which we are
Way to go.
trying. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. And we are trying to continue up to the sustainability sector and create more solutions that can be impactful and accessible. So we're not only limited to TAWI, but we are willing to broaden up our wings and look at some other areas that we can actually explore and help out. Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome. Wow, that's really, really awesome. So it's something that you're looking at developing it further and implementing it, right?
Yep.
That's okay. That's awesome. All right. So can you just touch on the significance of winning the Imagine Cup and the prizes associated with it? Also, like, what was it like? Talk to me about like, because more about the prizes and the prizes and recognition now. So how significant was winning it in terms of perhaps motivation with your solution?
In terms of our motivation, winning all this reward was very exciting, and we are grateful. We are really grateful for that, and winning all this is we want to make through what we have gained and win.
Right?
Want to
Right.
Yeah, we want now to use that motivation because it's kind of motivating us to work harder, and we want now to use that motivation to go further again and try to make the solution accessible to all. Yeah, it's really really motivating.
All right, that's awesome. So over the course of this entire interaction, intentionally, I saved this question for last because I'm really, really interested. And it involves Microsoft CEO and Chairman Satya Nadella. So it's my understanding that by winning this competition, you got an mentorship session with Satya. Can you touch on that? Perhaps share insights on that. What was that like? If it was me, I would have been man, it would have been amazing. I can imagine talking about that.
Um, we are yet to get a schedule of when we're going to have the mentorship session, but we are all looking forward to that, especially having an inside thought of how he expects us to be, or if we have any question, if he's willing to answer it, because he has that kind of broad aspect of how business can run and how tech is going to be in the next in the future.
Yeah.
And we're really hoping to get an insight of that and have that experience as enjoyable as we can.
Please enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy every moment of it. Like,
Yeah.
avoid every moment of it, please. I think that's all the questions I have. But then I'm confident that the audience and listeners, they have loads of questions. So this is me throwing the floor open. Perhaps you can, if you have questions for the guys in the audience, you can just ask on the chats, on the private chat. Then you guys can just provide answers to the questions. Wow. I think while we wait for questions, hold on, do we have one already? I'll wait for questions. Okay, yeah, we don't have anyone just yet. So give me a minute, please. All right, so I'll wait for questions. Let me just talk about Azure Episodes in general. So Azure Episodes, which I mean, we're kind of like hosting you here. What we do in general, we're a group of motivated, students ambassadors right now. Hopefully, we become MVP someday. And what we do is we're trying to create a what's it called now? A community of amazing people whereby we can amplify the Microsoft Azure message. We're kind of like empowering and amplifying a community of Azure users in Africa. So we try to have sessions whereby we touch on perhaps topics in the Azure ecosystem. We demo our projects. We could come around, talk about OCL in tandem with Azure, perhaps how to work with the Kubernetes container in Azure and all of that. So basically, that's what we're doing. That's what we do in Azure Episodes. And then this is like this is the first time, wow, I kind of like our launch for the YouTube channel. And I feel like when we're going to launch it, we thought, what better way to launch it than the Trailblazers themselves, the Team TAWI, who just won the 2023 Imagine Cup Championship. So perhaps over the coming weeks, we are going to over the coming weeks, I want to have more sessions like this. And I'll be lying if I said I'm not excited about what's to come. It's really exciting. And I hope we'll be able to inspire people by just this call, and even more events we have going forward. So yeah, that's that about that. Just to confirm, okay, yeah, there's a question here that says, are you open for collaboration?
Yeah, we are open for collaboration because I believe everyone has a different take in a solution, and we are happy to have people chipping in and helping us out when we need help. Yeah, but I think we are open for collaboration, and we'd love to have you, anyone who wants to be on board. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Also, another question here says, how long did it take you to build your projects and prepare for the Imagine Cup?
It took us roughly 7 months. So the first 3 months were for just looking for people, looking at the statistics, writing down proposal, and figuring out the whole thing first, and getting the architecture behind it. And then the remaining 3 months were full development back to back. So we would spend 7 days or a lot of hours that we kept into the 4 months that we had before the regionals finals. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying you had 3 months of working 12 hours per day. Wow. So
Yeah.
another question Vian asks here, to win the Imagine Cup, should the project be about AI? Is there like any restriction in that regard?
Not, because I think this year it was all about AI because of we've got OpenAI, and there's a lot of things that are happening with AI.
I feel
So
like-
it was based in with AI, but I don't think they're limited to AI as long as the impact you have is much greater and it's solving a problem locally and globally. I think that can be a good project that you can put in Imagine Cup, and you never know, you might win.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like it's this conversations now because now technology is like everything is AI. So I feel like that's perhaps why right now AI is like so, most of the solutions were AI oriented, right? But it doesn't have to be AI.
It doesn't have to be AI, but personally, I would advise if your solution is AI based, because I think AI is the next weapon in helping us in civilization and creating a huge impact in the world. So it's not only, plus it's I think it's still young, and there's a lot of solutions that you can put out there that can actually help people with AI. So I would advise you go into the AI sector.
Yeah.
I
It's
hear
better to embrace AI. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So there's another question asking you: did you have a prototype the first time you were pitching your solution, or you had already developed it?
So we had the first regionals. We had a prototype, I'd say, but we had the solution ready. We just need to redefine the client side. We had the backend working and everything, but just now putting in the small glitters here and there. That's when, after we got through the regionals, and we were like, okay, let's make it much more user friendly by adding like a button here and colors there. But we had the solution ready beforehand. Yeah.
All right. So you had the functional solution ready. However, you improved the user experience as time passed, as you approach the finals, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, that makes sense. So the question here says, how can we connect with you to be on board for collaboration?
We can put in our LinkedIn
Yeah.
profiles. Yeah.
Right, that'll be good.
Wait, do you have your LinkedIn here? I have my
I think
LinkedIn.
that's all the question we have.
I think
Okay,
it's
so one last question, and this is for me myself, right? Okay, so I feel like I won't forgive myself if I had a session with you guys and I did not talk about AI in general. So this is me asking you personally, AI, you think it's going to take our jobs?
Not really. I think it will help us out in accelerating the work. So help us in learning, help us in doing work much faster and better. So I don't think it's going to take our jobs. It's actually going to create a lot of jobs because it's a new sector and there's a lot that might come out from that. It's the same thing as I'd say when cars came out, or people thought it's going to remove other jobs like carts or something like that. But right now, it's a basic means of transportation. So it's not going to take our jobs. It's actually going to help us out in the jobs that we have.
All right, that's awesome. How about you, Santish? What do you think?
Me, I think that AI is going to accelerate the way we want to solve problems. So I think the best approach to come to it is rather to try to embrace, accept it, and move forward. Yeah, because the actually today and the future it's AI. So we need to embrace it and move.
Yeah. I think I totally agree with the responses. I feel like AI is going to only help us, and the things we thought were not possible, AI is going to make them possible. That's what it does. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing, actually. So I feel like concerns come from people thinking, the way they portray AI in sci-fi movies, something of the sort. But I don't think we're going to have anything like that. We have ethical measures in place and all of that. So I think in the absence of any other question, we've come to the end of this amazing session. It's been awesome just being able to learn from you guys, having you guys touch on the experience, what the entire journey was like. If there's anything I picked up from this is the fact that you have to work hard. Because I think it's more than talking about you guys work to be there. And I promise you, you guys deserve all the accolades. Once again, congratulations. Like, I'm super pumped for you guys. I look forward to seeing the amazing things you guys do. One last thing, I love the fact that because I'm a big advocate for women in tech, and it's amazing to see two amazing women. Two amazing women among the same doing amazing things. I'm always rooting for you guys. Looking forward to the amazing things you guys do in the future. And then, thank you very much for honoring the invitation. It's been a pleasure. Just being able to converse with you. And I'll be lying if I said I'm not inspired, though. I'm very inspired. Yeah. I'm very inspired. Yeah, so thank you very much. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to come out here. Is there any last thing you'd like to add, something you'd like to share?
I also want to say thank you, and thank you everyone. We really love to share our insight on our experience and how you can accelerate a startup and all that. So it's really nice to have people join in and learn from that. So thank you a lot also.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, all the best for the future. The future group who are going to join Microsoft Imagine Cup. Nothing is impossible. You can still make it. All the best.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. One last thing. How can you reach your social media?
Pardon?
How can we reach you? Perhaps on LinkedIn or Twitter?
Yeah, LinkedIn. We are sharing our link. Give me 1 minute to share the link.
All right. No problem.
Yeah. Now you can go to your link. Where's that dish? Just go. Do you have your LinkedIn password?
And while you're sharing your link, for everyone joining in, you should follow Azure Episodes as well, Azure Episodes Africa. So it's
Is that
AZPISODES
Green Room,
on
which is now
Twitter.
on the business plan.
Mhm.
Green Room is a waiting area.
Anyway, we can't share anything. But my LinkedIn is just Mona Numan. You can join and we can connect.
I think we're going to add perhaps you can send it over. We're going to add the LinkedIn pages to the description when we're done with the entire streaming. That makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so thank you very much for more at Azure Episodes. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.